God story. Before I knew the Lord, my mother was sick with breast cancer that led to liver cancer, that led to brain cancer. She was 55 years old and she'd been put into a nursing home. And she was getting near the end of her life. She'd been there for about 6 to 9 months. Actually, I think it was 9 months. And they had called us and said it was getting near the end and to come in. So I had 3 small children at the time. I had a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And we weren't much of a praying family. So I decided I would go and pray with her. I knew the Our Father at the time, so I wasn't totally saved. I didn't know the Lord. I took the kids, we went to the nursing home, and the girls were just too young to take in and do something like that. So I left them outside the door, and I just hoped they'd be okay. And I took my son, who did know the Our Father, with me into the room, and we sat down, and we decided to pray that prayer by Mom's bed. That's all I kind of knew to do. She was totally paralyzed at the time, and she'd been paralyzed for a while, and was non-responsive to anything for at least a month. And she pretty much stopped eating, and, she was totally in the process of dying. So my son and I prayed the Our Father, and at the moment we finished, she sat straight up, turned to us, nodded her head, and fell back down. It pretty much scared both of us, and then I pretty much started crying. I was in complete shock and scared, kind of freaked out. So that was a major sign that started me thinking about God, because there was no other way that could have happened. And she had a sister who was 2 years older than her, who lived in a different state, who was dying of cancer as well at the exact same time. And her daughter is 2 years older than me, and they were experiencing stuff like that too. And she didn't really know the Lord either. So that was beyond coincidental for both of us. So the story kind of goes on. She was still alive, and then not long after that, I'd come back during a daytime. And like I said, she wasn't responsive, so I'd turn on the TV and was just kind of hanging out, and on comes a woman named Dr. Day. She was a regular medical doctor who had served cancer patients for a long time, and pretty much knew that within 5 years of having chemo, most cancer patients got their cancer back again, which is exactly what happened to my mom. So I really started listening, and it ended up that she herself got breast cancer, and she had gotten a large tumor on one of her breasts, and she knew that going through chemo would probably destroy her, and then, she'd eventually get cancer back. So she kind of did some soul searching. She quit her practice and decided to, and she wasn't much of a Christian at the time or anything, but I suppose when you're facing death, she decided to eat only foods from the Bible. And she was sharing all this on TV, and I was like, my mom is dying from breast cancer right in front of me, and I'm thinking, at the time, they tell you genetically, you're going to probably, you're most likely to get it, if your family had it. And so I was figuring, all right, I'm going to have to face this at some point, so I better pay attention. And within 2 years, she healed herself completely by eating God foods. And then she learned more. She only ate organic food. She started juicing. She got sunlight, fresh oxygen, air. And, of course, at the end, she had like her DVD you could buy and find out more. And I thought, okay, this is also not coincidental. I'm going to buy it, even though I didn't normally do that stuff and thought kind of a scam. But I bought it and I thought, okay, I'll have this in my arsenal of healing stuff if this ever happens to me. And that kind of started off me learning about nutrition, and lots of people have healed themselves of cancer without chemo, all through God. And later on, as I came to know the Lord more, He actually gave me, I'm a painter and I'm an art teacher and an artist in a variety of media. He actually gave me some visions of things I should paint, vegetables and fruit, and he'd tell me titles like Cures Cancer. So, okay, that's a little insight into the beginning of me getting to know the Lord.